Hey, are those the original UFC belts right there behind you?
Yes, they are. Those are the first two that were handed out. Yeah, single fight.
That's
Nice.
something else. That's sick, brother. That is sick. When I heard that Ken was coming on to the show, I right away I want to go back in history, man, and I'll ask you a few questions about the history because you're one of the first guys, Ken, that I saw perform a heel hook or a knee bar, and I know this is probably going way back, but
Right.
today it seems like in grappling and MMA, mainly in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and submission grappling, that leg locks are coming back onto the scene in a real popular way. JC knows this. But you were doing these leg locks, the heel hooks, and the knee bars way back in the day. Where did you first see these leg locks? Who was the first guy? I mean, you saw it on video. Were you here in the U.S.? I mean, how did this work out? How did this work for you?
Yeah, I had actually did a tryout in Japan where they flew me up, and this one when UWF was going, and I went in and I did a tryout and I rolled with about 4 different guys, and I remember being choked unconscious, being heel hooked, and this was in '89. Before anybody ever saw any of this stuff. And so I flew over there with not even knowing what I was getting into. You know, it was supposed to be this fight thing. I saw videos of it, but I didn't understand it. So I go into this dojo and I go against about 4 different guys for about 20 minutes for each of them. And I literally just, the first 2 guys were young boys and I pretty much handled them. But the next 2 guys, the last 2 guys, which was Minoru Suzuki and Masakatsu Funaki, and they were just starting out, they literally just beat the snot out of me. And I'd never been handled. I mean, I've always been a pretty tough guy. And I'd never been handled. And these guys handled me like nothing, especially when they took me to the ground. They choked me, they armbarred me. But the one thing I remembered was that leg lock. It was like when they put it on, I didn't know where to attack. I didn't know how to, like, what are they doing? And next thing I know, my knee's going to get blown out. And I'm like, you know? And so for me, I thought, I got to learn that because I was so confused on like how do I stop that? And so I learned that first. And if you watched any of my career over in Japan, you know, I broke probably about 4 or 5 different guys' ankles doing that heel hook. I learned it fast.
Same story happened to me, but I wasn't in Japan. I was here in Vegas. You're like, somebody got me in a leg lock, and I was like, what is this?
Right.
And I fell in love with that. So same story, man. I can relate to that.